Hello class, today I'm going to be doing my persuasive speech on texting and driving and why I advise against it and why it must come to an end and why I think you should also never text and drive again. Some things I want to discuss are the legality of it, the commonality of it, why it's so dangerous, how many accidents are caused by texting and driving, and even a comparison to texting and driving and drinking and driving. So to get started, I'm going to talk about the legality of texting and driving, and to start, why you shouldn't is because it's illegal. But actually, what I found online from ARAG Legal, it states in 46 states, Washington D.C., Puerto Rico, Guam, and the U.S. Virgin Islands, it is illegal for any driver to text and drive. So I did say it was illegal, but that is a little contradicting because there are a couple states that don't abide by this, which I find very unusual. I think it should be illegal in all 50 states, considering how dangerous it is and the accidents resulting from it. And another reason why you shouldn't be doing it is because you're going to get yourself a very expensive ticket, and I know nobody wants to deal with that. So next, I want to talk about why it's dangerous. And I found a quote from TeenSafe, and it states that sending or reading a text causes drivers, on average, to take their eyes off the road for 5 seconds. The truth of the matter is that texting while driving results in 400% more time with a driver's eyes off the road, seriously increasing the chance of a crash. So the part that sticks out to me in that quote is a 400% number. This number is too high and should not even exist. The only reason it's there is because people aren't looking at the road. You need to make sure you keep your eyes on the road, and by doing so, you're gonna not put yourself or others at risk. And another thing to think about is, instead of just yourself, your passengers. You're also putting your passengers at risk by not keeping your eyes on the road, and you need to be considerate of that. Next, I want to talk about the commonality of driving and texting. So, how common is texting and driving? According to Edgar Snyder and Associates, 1 out of every 4 car accidents in the United States is caused by texting and driving. For me personally, I think that this rate is far too high. 25%, that's unnecessary and shouldn't even be a thing. People just need to be considerate of their safety, of themselves and others, and just put it to the side and ignore it until they get to their destination. If people weren't texting and driving, if you think about it, these accidents would no longer happen, like at all. And this leads me to my next point of the statistics of how many accidents are caused by texting and driving. And I found this number from the website iSpike. It claims each year, over 330,000 accidents caused by texting while driving lead to severe injuries. Like I said before, if you weren't texting and driving, this number, not realistically, but if you like to think about it nicely, it could drop down to 0. And by doing so, this would be saving thousands of people's lives, because hundreds of thousands of people are becoming severely injured, and some of those are resulting in death. And another thing to think about is even wrecking your car, wrecking another person's car. That's a very expensive thing you're going to have to take on, and nobody wants to deal with that. The last thing I want to talk about, even though I think it's personally going out on a limb, is the comparison between texting and driving and drinking and driving. I found this quote from Stewart Law Offices. It states that one study by the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration concluded that texting while driving is 6 times more dangerous than driving while intoxicated. Multiple tests have found that drivers in the act of texting have significantly slower reaction times than those who were intoxicated. This relates to my other quote of that 400% statistic, like this being 6 times higher. I find that to be way too high. And even with a comparison between alcohol and your phone, I don't know how much correlation there is, but with alcohol, your eyes are on the road at least, and if you're texting, your eyes aren't. That's what needs to change. So in prevention for all this, the only thing that could change this is up to us. We need to be considerate of our passengers, keeping them safe, keeping ourselves safe, and keeping everyone else out on the road safe. By practicing what I discussed, we can make this change, and we can make texting and driving come to an end.